Okay, my dear friends, I need a favor from you today. And it's not anything that's going to cost you money, and it's really very simple and easy to do. And it might be the blessing that someone is looking for. I just need you to like, to comment, or to share this video. And it's so simple. All you have to do in the comment section is just thank you. It really helps us with the algorithms of the YouTube. It means we get seen by a lot more people. So post a comment. If you have a prayer request or a question, you can post that as well. I'll be sure to answer them. It will help us and it will help the world out greatly. Thank you. You are a blessing to us and to the world. And until we see each other again, God bless us all. Let's begin our service with an opening reading and affirmative prayer. Today I'm reading from my book, Whispers of Heaven. And in it I wrote, "My divine birthright is freedom and goodness. Life gives according to my faith. So today I lift my spirit and listen to the song of my soul." So let's put these words to work in our lives through affirmative prayer. I'm going to do this prayer in the first person. Take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There is but one God, one mind, and one power. And that power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. And that power is showing up in my life as me. So here today, I open my heart to the song of my soul. A song that seeks to sing for goodness and kindness and compassion and love. Here today, I know these things are showing up in my life as God, and they're mine to recognize and give gratitude for. So today, I move out in my life with courage and compassion and conviction, knowing that God and I are one, and that my life is good, joyful, and wonderful. This is my truth. I celebrate it. I rejoice in this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. My talk title today is The Everlasting Arms. I'm getting this from both Scripture and an article by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. In Scripture, it says, "I rest in the everlasting arms of love." You know, as we're going through this period of uncertainty and change, it's good to have reassurance that life is good and that we are safe and secure, and that this comfort of this knowing that everything is going to be all right. We need stability and normalcy in our life right now. We're craving for it. Unfortunately, this past week I had to give up some of my certainty. I had to let go of a long-term relationship. And as in any long-term relationships, there had been some good times, some fun times, some laughter, and some tears. I particularly remember last Christmas when we watched one of my favorite Christmas specials, Pinky and the Brain Christmas special. If you haven't ever seen it, be sure to look it up on YouTube. Now, after a lot of fussing and fighting and some frustration, the time had come to say goodbye. And the relationship I'm talking about is with our cable TV provider. I had done all I could to make this relationship work. I had practically called Dr. Phil for couples counseling. I didn't want to go through the hassle of switching providers. But at a certain point, it became apparent. This large company wasn't interested in keeping my business. We were one customer, and we weren't going to affect their balance sheet. And they were not going to do what was necessary to provide us good service, regardless that they were still expecting our money. So after a long period of frustration, it became clear that it was time to break up this relationship. I had to make the final call to find out where we needed to send our equipment. And I was all ready to give a long speech. I was ready to get on my high horse, letting them know about the decline of the free enterprise system, the sanctity of the flow of information. You could have probably heard Kate Smith singing in the background. But when the representative of the company came online, I quickly realized that this was a very nice and sweet individual. You could tell she was Asian, and I don't think she was in the United States. She was pretty capable with the English language. She didn't do as much damage to it as many of my relatives. And you couldn't have asked for a nicer person. She would have put any glass of sweet tea to shame. So instead of getting on my high horse, I figured she had enough trouble working for this large corporation, who after all didn't care very much about me as a customer, and certainly probably didn't care very much about her as an employee. So instead of being confrontational, I explained the situation and told her that we needed to close out the account. She told me that it's probably going to take a couple of minutes for the system to update. And during that time, she needed to read me a script about another product this company was offering me. Now, normally, that would have just infuriated me. But where I was, it just made me laugh. And it proved to be such a blessing. It was a blessing for me. It certainly was a blessing for my blood pressure. And I'm sure it was a blessing for this young woman. The upshot to all of this was that we were able to keep our internet service, and she actually was able to up the broadband. I didn't want to admit to her I didn't really know what broadband was, but she assured me that it would help me do my virtual GoToMeetings. So it was making life easier. Also, the new TV service that we got is just wonderful. It couldn't have been easier to adapt to, and it's providing us a lot of new options for fun and also learning. There's an improv show that I find just hysterical. So even when things don't appear to be working out, when they don't appear to be headed in the direction, if we will keep our faith, Spirit can make something better of it. If we will keep our equilibrium, even when we're going up the rough side of the mountain, we will make the journey better for ourselves and all those that happen to be with us. Dr. Holmes wrote, "I am secure in the everlasting arms of God." When I was editor at the Atlanta Church's newsletter, I had once included that terminology in an obituary that I wrote for a dear friend of mine who had been a big presence there at the Atlanta Church. And the Atlanta Church is a very large church. The newsletter goes out to several thousand people. And the minister there, he read over that language and he asked that I change it because he thought there was too much duality in that language, the ideas of God having everlasting arms. And he does have a point. God is consciousness. Technically, it does not have arms, but it's a metaphor. And Dr. Holmes was, after all, a poet. So I think we have to give him a pass. And you know, we need this comforting language right now as we're going through this challenge. We can talk about law and principle all we don't want, but those terms don't exactly give us the warm and fuzzy feelings that we need in this time of turmoil. Dr. Holmes, he said that the idea of the everlasting arms, he said that suggests divine protection, complete certainty that all is well. And he said, after all, the spirit of humanity is God. So how could it be otherwise? That which has created us is with us and is us. Now that's a concept that you don't necessarily need to go out to try to explain to your friends. But it's true. And the quicker we wake up to it and start living and acting from that, the sooner we're going to turn things around. And the sooner the lamb will lay down with the lion. And that is not a metaphor. That is our future. And one bright day, we will see that. Dr. Holmes says, I feel the divine presence is all around and through me and everyone. He says, I am secure in the thought that today and every day, I'm guided, I'm guarded, and I'm protected. I can heal that which is in my past. I can deal with whatever is in my future. And I can bless what is ever before me to bless. You know, one of my parts of my spiritual practices that I'm doing these days is I call it bless this house. You know, we're all spending so much time in our homes. It's good to bless them, the physical structure, and bless those that are in it. As I was writing this talk, our little 10-pound pickapoo, Sadie, had come out with me, and I don't think she thinks that I can do anything on my own. And so she had fallen asleep. Sometimes when she's sleeping, she has dreams, and she barks in her dreams, and it comes out muffled. It's the most adorable thing you've seen in the world. And when she was there with me, I blessed her and blessed everyone else that's in the house, including myself. And then I enlarged the idea of house to all those that I've come in contact with. And so, yes, I blessed the young Asian lady. I have forgotten her name, but God never has. And God will be quick to get a blessing to her. Dr. Holmes, he said, I am secure in the thought that all people are protected by God's love and guided by divine wisdom. He said, I am one with all, both the visible and invisible, one with the seen and the unseen, one with God and one with humanity. So in this time of confusion and turmoil, do not be dismayed. What we are dealing with are just appearances. It's not the truth of our lives. God's love is the truth of our lives. So keep your eye on the light of God's love in your life and proclaim that love. Look for it. Acknowledge it. Be that love. Bless yourself and bless those in your house and those around you. Treat yourself and all those with the compassion of God's love. Sleep well in the everlasting arms of God's love, of God's compassion and God's life. This is what we're here to do. We're able to do it. We're the people to do it. And now's the time. It's the truth in your life today. It's the truth in mine. And so it is.
Buildings and bridges were made to bend in the wind, to withstand the world, that's what it takes. All this steel and stone is no match for the air, my friend. What doesn't bend breaks, what doesn't bend breaks. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. We're made to bleed, scab, and heal, and bleed again, then turn every scar into a joke. We're made to talk and fight and talk and fight again, then sit around and laugh till we choke. Sit around and laugh till we choke. Da 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 da, da 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 da. I don't know who you were expecting, Probably someone who does not budge, with eyes as big as snow. Well, I get ticked off sometimes, but you look like the type to hold a grudge. When in the end I just let it go. In the end I let it go. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. 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 Buildings and bridges were made to bend in the wind. To withstand the world, that's what it takes. All this steel and stone is no match for the air, my friend. What doesn't bend breaks, doesn't bend breaks. When it doesn't bend, it breaks. Da 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 da. 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 Da 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 da.
So let's close our service with an affirmative prayer. Just know this truth with me. There is but one God, one mind, one power. And that power is divine intelligence, it's perfect love. And that intelligence and love is flowing through me, with me, and for me. So here today, I know I have the power of goodness, the power of intelligence, and the power of compassion flowing through me, opening a way for me. Here today, I walk out in my life with courage and conviction, knowing that good and only good is returning to me. Here today, I can celebrate my soul and my life, knowing that God is with me, lifting my eyes to a better knowing for myself. I know that there is nothing I need to fear, that I have the power and goodness and glory of God with me, and my life is a wonderful, joyous jubilee. This is my truth. I celebrate this right now, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my dear friends, know this truth with me. Your life is not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, to proclaim your miracle, and to make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle God has called us to be. This is Reverend Ken. Until we see each other again, many blessings.